He is a 20-year veteran of the embedded software, telecommunication, and semiconductor industries. So, uh, I am delighted to introduce Atul Joshi ji. So, he have made significant contributions to this field, having worked with industry giants like Infra, Fujitsu, Sina, Synopsys, and HFCL R&D. So he is currently a principal software engineer at Nokia. So where he brings his deep expertise in developing cutting-edge SDKs to ASICs chipsets. Throughout his career, Atulji has excelled in multiple domains from embedded software and semiconductor technology to telecom. So he has a strong grasp of programming languages, and so beyond his technical acumen, so he is a skilled mentor and leader known for providing his guidance to engineering students. And he have written articles in national dailies also. So today we will be diving into the future of semiconductor industry and vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. So so
Thank you. Understanding. Actually, I will just like to correct. Before dwelling into future, we need to talk about present. Okay,
yes, yes.
future will come later.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can start, right? I mean, we have enough decorum. We can probably start. Okay,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So I suppose these are all students here who are pursuing their graduation or in the initial days of their career. I suppose, right? That is the demography, right? Right,
Yes.
right, right. So one thing, if I ask you youngsters, we are talking about the semiconductors and all technologies and whatnot. Simple question, why we are talking about it, right? Unless until we know the reason of why or
Yeah.
know the full
I
explanation
would
of
like
why.
to answer that.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
so I would like to answer that. So,
Yeah, go on.
semiconductor. So, without semiconductor, we can't imagine a modern world. So, we have modern world because of semiconductors, and it is just like pillars of technology. Like uh, every other industries like defense, space technology. So, these all rely on the strong foundation of semiconductor industry. So it is a very crucial industry. Like if there is a chip shortage, so everything gets stopped, like car production, our game PCs and everything. Yeah.
Correct. Actually, that is so. So, I will give you the most recent example, and I will give you some more anecdotes. Because you are young, so we are from that old generation who grew up in '90s, and I will give you some examples of '90s and '70s when we conducted our first Pokhran test and what all problems we went through. Okay, but the most recent being, if you remember Corona time. Okay, during the Corona time, if you see the delivery of cars was getting delayed because of the chip shortage. Okay,
Yes.
now you imagine, I think automobile sector is one of the major employment giving sector in India. Correct.
Yes.
So if it is not working to its full capacity, the employment generation takes a hit. Okay, this is only one example I am giving. Okay, there are many such examples I can give you, but this is one example. Okay, that why semiconductor is becoming crucial, because semiconductor is getting part of every system. So see, there was days, if you remember, the engineering days when I was growing up, mechanical was a very isolated field. Okay, mechanical engineers that time never used to learn programming languages, right? But now if you
Yes.
open the automobile chassis, there is more electronics than mechanical there, right? The amount of electronics it is there. I was talking to my ex-colleague from Synopsys one day, and he was saying that it is becoming so difficult for all these automakers to maintain the supply chain of all this electronics, because there is so much of electronics. The supply chain management, the all the processes which are involved is getting so complex. But it is just one example that the role of semiconductors in every system on this earth. Automobile is just one example, but every system on this earth you are going to have electronics. That is the amount of semiconductors which we are talking about. Okay, now that is one aspect, that why we need it, because if we don't have enough supply of semiconductors, our economy will come to a standstill. And that is why semiconductor industry is not just an industry for employment, it has a strategic mandate, right? I mean, it is something like that if it is not there, then the whole economy is going to go down. Okay, and
Yes.
on top of that, and the thing is that if you look at the semiconductor landscape, there is no single country which has absolute self-reliance as far as semiconductors is concerned. So if you have one ASML in Denmark, you have one TSMC in Taiwan. Okay, that lithographic machines which ASML provides is the one which forms the basis of TSMC in Taiwan. Okay, so that is another aspect, that there is no country on this earth which has mastered all the components of the supply chain. Okay, there are some countries which are good in some specific thing, there are other countries which are good in some other things. Okay, so that is what. So that is what why means, as I said, if we don't do it, there is a grave danger that our economy will come to standstill. Okay, that is the why. From there, I just wanted to start that we are talking about all these semiconductors and all, and then anyway, there is a questionnaire there, we will discuss about it. But till now, I mean, if anybody, anyway, I am happy that there are only few people, so you can directly ask me questions. You can open your mic and directly ask me. I mean, still now, otherwise we will go one by one. To, I think, first question we have already answered. I think what that was the first question, right, Anushka? What was the first question?
No
No.
questions are yet. We
Just
started.
growth. Right. So I think that we already covered, but yeah, if anybody wants to ask question till now, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I will start. So,
That's
what
okay.
role does a strong semiconductor industry play in India's vision of becoming a global economic powerhouse?
Sorry. What is your question, Anushka?
So, what role does a strong semiconductor industry play in India's vision
See,
of
yeah.
becoming
So
a
let me see. First, we need to understand that semiconductors themselves are not a system. See, please understand, semiconductor itself is not an end product. Every semiconductor will go and will be put into some system. Okay, so when we are talking about the role of unless so so for example, if we say that if we want to penetrate into the market which are already dominated by Qualcomm, Broadcoms, and all these behemoths, right? Now if some Indian startup wants to come and compete with them, it will be very difficult. What's the
yes,
good way? That we have a systems view. Basically, see, I will tell you one of the problems, because I never worked abroad, I always worked in India. Okay, one of the problems is all these MNCs only have their development centers in India. Okay, they only have engineering centers. So somebody sitting outside India, is doing the product definition, that somebody is telling us what to do, and we do it to perfection. But in that process, we are not becoming that somebody. Please understand that. We are not defining the products. We are not deciding what to make. Okay. And because we are not deciding, that is why our instincts and our experience in product development is not increasing. Okay. Somebody is
right,
telling us, so you please design it for me, and we do it to perfection without knowing that what what all factors went in deciding that this chip should be developed, right? And what is the reason for that? The reason is because we are not designing our own systems. Please understand, the semiconductors which we are designing, they are getting mounted on systems somewhere designed outside, and we are not talking to those people. Okay, so now,
yes,
yes, we are not talking to those people. Okay, but as I said, if we really want to harness and see, that was one of the reasons that brain drain we talk about, right? Because the opportunities were so limited in India so far, that people always found it was not only money. Please understand that, whenever people go outside, it's not only about money, it is all about experiences and opportunities also. Okay,
right,
and I agree with them, because they have the whole ecosystem. When you go to America, I mean, the semiconductor companies there are feeding into the systems companies. So for example, if a company like AT&T and T and all these, or Meta or Google, now so they have their own semiconductors, but they must be using semiconductors and the Qualcomm and Broadcom also for some of their purposes. So there are a whole ecosystem Whereas in our country, we don't have the whole ecosystem. We are just a design center. Somebody is telling us, please design it, and we are designing it. Okay, we don't have the whole ecosystem, and unless until this whole ecosystem is developed, the semiconductor ecosystem will not evolve. So I will give you one example. If you might have heard of, in recent times, in many engineering colleges, they are closing down some of their departments. They are closing down their mechanical, they're closing down their electronic department. The reason being, because they say, because the major money is into AI, ML, cloud jobs, every student is running after that only. Now, what is exactly happening there? Because the semiconductor companies take time to design a chip, as Anandji was speaking right at the 5 p.m. If you want to design a chip, it may be 4 or 5 years, right? So any investor who's putting his money into that kind of venture will take at least 10 years before he can earn his money. Okay.
Yes.
Whereas in case of AI ML cloud, you develop an app, and if it hits, it hits. Your gestation periods are very low. I mean, you can get your investment very fast, and that's why everybody's putting their money into AI ML, and that's why every kid is running after that. But now, if you see, when this hard time is coming, who is the worst hit? Those are the same people who are worst hit. People like who are into core engineering, mechanical, electronics. If you see, they are not hit that hard,
Right.
right? Because they are developing that infrastructure on which all these apps run, basically, right? See, if you look at apps, right, today you have a demand, tomorrow you don't have a demand, those apps will close down. But when it comes to telecom infrastructure, it is perennial. I mean, it will always be there, it will always be required. Okay. So to the youngsters, I would like to say, it's a humble suggestion, and that is what actually I wanted to come at the later stage, that you do. Yes, money is required, gentlemen. I am not saying money is not required. Please understand that. Okay, money is required, but that is not the only thing. See,
Right.
I will give you one example. If some of you are very much interested into earning money, please go join some AI/ML cloud company. They will, and if you are good at that, they will pay you heavily. Okay, but see, if your heart is not into it, money is a motivator till a very short span of time. Please understand that. After that time, money will cease to be cease to exist as a motivator. You take my word on that. Okay, eventually your motivation will be where your heart is. Okay, was something
Yes.
which you like. Okay, so what I'm trying to come to, that semiconductor, you need to have deep interest into it. Okay, and I will give you an example of I don't know how many of you know the story of TSMC. Anushka, you know the story of TSMC, how TSMC was brought up?
No.
No, so you should hear the story. Okay, so TSMC was in Taiwan. Please understand, Taiwan at one time was an underdeveloped country. Okay, but their leadership had a vision that they want to take their country towards the better development. So what they did, they said they chose some 5 to 6 engineers, and they told Motorola that you please train these people. You don't need to pay them, we will pay them. Okay, and Motorola was very happy that they are getting free engineers, they will train them, and these 5 engineers build the basis for TSMC. That is how TSMC was started. The point I'm trying to make is, first of all, vision is important. Second thing, you should be ready to get your hands dirty. You should get practical knowledge. Unfortunately, in many of the engineering colleges, that is not there. That is a lacuna with our education system. But now, there are enough opportunities available. If you go to internet, if you go to YouTube, you go to NPTEL. So Anandji was talking about, right, that FPGA programming. You have so many resources now. In our time, that was not the case. Even if I want to learn something practically, it was very difficult. But in today's time, you know, the rule is you must get hands-on. Unless until you get hands-on, your instincts will not be developed. Believe me, those 5 engineers who got trained in Motorola, it was not that whatever TSMC we are looking for, 1 nm, 2 nm, 3 nm nodes we are talking about. They got there by starting somewhere and getting their hands dirty. You must have practical knowledge. Unless until you have a practical knowledge, your instincts will not be developed. Instincts, are very important. Very important. That is what you call experience. Actually, the other word for instinct is experience. Okay, why experience is so much value? Because once you have an experience, you have instincts. You know what will work, what will not work.
Yes.
Okay, so this is some story. I just wanted to. That's why it's a chit chat session. Okay, gentlemen, it is not. There is no set agenda or set format of this session. You can ask questions. Anushka, you go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Based
Yeah.
on what we spoke. So somebody said, holistic. I saw some comment. Somebody said that holistic. Yes, you are very right. Holistic education is not required. And believe me, when you talk about holistic education, we are not only talking about the IQ. I am also talking about EQ. See, nobody's telling you that See, when we were growing up, we were told to become engineers because they earn well. Believe me, the end of my education was to get into job. Okay, but nobody told me that once I get into job, what after that? And that is the problem which is happening with youngsters. I will give you jokingly three Ds: depression, drugs, divorces. Okay, these three Ds. It is prevalent in my generation who have good amount of disposable income. See, my parents, they were hand to mouth. Okay, but I never saw whatever you want to do. My dad told me to do. Oh, yes, correct, Tushar. Okay. So, by the way, I think Tushar is Marathi by name, Patil.
मराठी आहे मराठी.
बरोबर. आता मी मराठी बोलू शकत नाही because I have to speak in English. But
असं
yeah.
हरकत नाही.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that please, youngsters, please try to understand this. Okay. You people will earn much better money than probably what your parents did. But you are the next generation. Let me come to my generation. Okay, so my father was hand to mouth, like many of his friends, but none of them were depressed, none of them were drug addicts, and none of them were getting their divorces. Okay, this problem is with my generation, who has all the luxuries of life, and yet I don't know, for some reason, and probably we will talk about that, we are depressed, we are getting drug addicted, and we are getting divorces. Isn't it? Am I correct?
Right.
Right? What is the reason? The reason is, see, as I said, money is important ingredient of life. I'm not disparaging it. Okay, you have to earn money. So who is our Warren Buffett? He says one sentence that before you say money is not everything, make sure you have enough of it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's very correct. Okay. But see, you know, I don't know how many of people say that Gita is for the retirees. It's not the case. Please understand where Gita was read. Gita was read on Kurukshetra. It was on the war land. Okay, it was not read in a jungle, or it was not read in a Abhisharanya where everybody was calm and listening to it. No, it was told in a war land. What does it mean? Basically, it means, see, our Karmakshetra is our Kurukshetra, if some people can understand what I said. Okay, our Karma Kshetra is our Kurukshetra. Basically, wherever we are working, we have to choose between what is right and what is wrong. Okay, because unless until we have a better wisdom on that, right? Believe me, your life will be miserable. Okay, these three Ds which I'm talking about, divorces, drugs, and depression, will catch you if you don't make right decisions in your Karma Kshetra.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so our Karma Kshetra is our Kurukshetra. Okay, that's why Gita is very relevant. I mean, if you can even understand 1% of it also, and leave it, Gita is a business. But for you people, I will just say, always have a higher goal. As I said, money you are supposed to earn. Okay, I will give you one example. What does it mean? Okay, when I was passing out in '99, it was a high time when that Y2K problem was there and everybody was flying to US. Okay, many of my friends flew. At that time, I only asked one question. You tell me you want to go to US, please go, no issues. But why you want to go? Same, why? What we were discussing when we started this discussion, we said why we are doing all this. Okay, so there has to be a good why before you do anything, because unless until you have a good why, believe me, you will go astray. So coming back to my question, I asked them, why you want to go US? So everybody will give you 100 bad reasons. Politics है, पानी नहीं है, ये नहीं है, electricity नहीं है, road नहीं है, infrastructure नहीं है. I mean, they will give you. So I told them, no, you give me 100 bad reasons. Give me one good reason why you want to go to US. That good reason could be that you want to do research, and the research, and this I'm talking about 99, 25 years back. So the research facilities are better there. I want to do research and do, fair enough. Second reason could be that the financials at my family are such that Indian salary is not making for it, but I need to take care of my family. That's why I want to. Fair enough. These are good reasons. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is, see, now the people who just went there to US just because they thought that everything is wrong in India and everything goes there. There is a kahavat in Hindi, wo dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. Because when they went there, they realized the shortcomings of that place. Okay, and when they realize the shortcomings of that place, they can neither be there or they can never come back, because they went there cursing India, that everything is bad. Okay, please mind, I am not saying that you should not go to US. I am not saying anything. You can go anywhere on this earth. Okay, now you can go to Mars also. Doesn't matter. What matters is with what mindset you are going there, right? So with what mindset? Your mindset is very important. Please mind that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not teaching you Gita, but I'm just telling you with what mindset you go there. Please understand that. Okay,
Right.
your reason for doing something must be very positive. It must have, it must have a noble cause for whatever you are doing. Again, I'm saying earning money is not bad. It is essential ingredient of life. But what you do want to do with money is important, right? Why you want to earn that money? Okay, I'm sorry if I preached, I went beyond this one. But, a very humble submission that you youngsters, you are starting your careers, just keep in mind that whatever you do, have a better goal in life, right?
Right.
Good, good.
So, India has launched various initiatives like the Indian Semiconductor Mission. So, how do you see these efforts shaping our future?
No, no, no. There are honest efforts being made. Okay, but my understanding is that we are still a very bureaucratic country. Okay, well, that's how it was. I mean, when we got our independence, the basic bureaucratic structure which we just took from Britishers, and I think that was the dumbest thing we did, because Britishers' bureaucratic system was supposed to suppress us, isn't it? So, and that's what we carried, right? For almost 70 years, that was carried. Now, people are trying to break that. Yeah, Tushar, we will. I mean, once I complete, then you can probably go ahead and share your experience. Okay. So that bureaucratic, to break that bureaucratic and become more enterprising, right? It is going to take some time. So, ISM with all the right motives, I still feel that it needs to pick up. I mean, it is picking up, no doubt about it. But yeah, the speed needs to be more. For example, RISC-V. Okay, now if you see some statistics, the number of RISC-V searches or the work which is happening, Pakistan is ahead of us.
Right.
Okay, so as I said, the reason is, I will tell you one experience. I was talking in one college, and that professor told me that we have all these EDA licenses with us, but we don't have students to work on it. Why? Because the same thing. Because the same thing that these students are running after AIML cloud because it is well paid, and f- pay is one thing. Another thing, there's somehow the impression is that cloud AIML is easier than VLSI.
Yeah.
Somehow that impression is there that that this is easier than VLSI, and that's why students are now. This is very sad. I mean, see, you not pursuing something just because perception wise. I mean, it's a perception again. I mean, I don't know whether it is hard or not, because see, I am a computer science engineer, but all through my career I have done multidisciplinary work. Okay, I mean, electronics, computer science, optics, whatnot, multidisciplinary. Okay. So, and believe me, I always picked up the task which was tougher. See, that built my career. Please understand that. If I could do something in my career, it was because that I never shied away from doing hard work, or I never shied away from picking up something which is difficult. Okay. You going after something, suppose, because you feel it's easy. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster, let me tell you.
Right.
Okay, don't shy away from picking up right things, for doing hard work, for because unless, see, human brain is a very fantastic machine. We have these gray cells. I don't know whether you understand gray cells. Basically it determines the inherent intelligence in you. Okay, but only having gray cells is not important. How you connect them is very important. Okay, how your gray cells are getting connected, and how they get connected when you practice mathematics. See, no, none of us is born with knowing integration and differentiation when we are born, right? When we grow up, when we practice mathematics, that's how we learn integration, right? So what is happening in our brain? Basically, when we are practicing more, our gray cells are getting connected accordingly. So for a sportsman, gray cells will be connected according to sports. For a musician, it will be connected according to musician. So for the mathematician, for the scientist, this one. So very humble suggestion: don't shy away from hard work. Don't shy away just because something is easy and something is difficult, and you shying away is a recipe for disaster. Go ahead, Anushka, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, Tushar, you wanted to
Well, you want
discuss
to say,
something.
बोलिए.
Yeah, okay. So this is with regard to India semiconductor mission. I mean, I had this question in the list beforehand. So I think what we need to focus on is having very strong and a robust IP IP registering process, because it takes very long in India, and maybe becoming more business friendly, because I'll tell you from my personal experience. So I was there, going out for lunch with one of my American friend while I was up there. So I was just going there. We were, and he was in the process of starting a company. I would not disclose what state it was, because every state in US has its own very weird, different set of rules. But it was one of the so-called zero tax states in US. And while we was going to sit for lunch, he just gave the yes to the lawyer for getting the company registered and to get the process started. Okay. So we were just done with our lunch, and we just paid the check, and then he got an email. Your corporation is open for business. Thank you and welcome. We were like 45 minutes. I mean, imagine that's the speed at which things happen. So, I mean,
No,
that
no,
is
no, no,
one of.
you're correct. I'm not denying your experience. See, so if you remember in Indian, this one, they had this system called one window clearance. Have you heard of this?
Gujarat.
No, Gujarat and many one window clearance. Basically, the purpose
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
was
yeah.
same. For the purpose was same. See, please again, I understand. Please understand what I'm trying to. I
Yeah.
said no, that we have been living with this great bureaucratic red tape for almost 70 years, right? It is going to
Hmm.
take some time to break it. Okay.
True,
On
true.
top of that, please understand. See, your systems is a reflection of your society. Okay. See, understand how America came up. See, there is nothing called. See, America is a big SEZ. Please understand, where everybody comes together for financial gains. Correct? Yeah.
Most apt way to say it.
Correct. It's a big SEZ. It's a big where
This is big as easy.
yeah, it's a big SEZ. It's a big SEZ where everybody is coming together for economic gains. Whereas, Bharat is not like that. It's not a purely capitalistic country. Okay, I mean, what the nature of societies is very different. That is what I'm trying to tell you. The nature of societies is very different, and that's how policies, and that's how as I said, we inherited our bureaucracy from Britishers, right? And that was the most idiotic thing to do. Okay, because that bureaucratic system was supposed to suppress us. It was not supposed to.
Yep.
The education system, we exactly followed the same, right? Rather than going to our native languages, I will give you one example. My brother-in-law's brother-in-law is an IIT Bombay, Berkeley PhD, working in Apple. Same is the case with wife. Okay, so have absolute intelligent genes, and their kids were struggling in studies in US. What they did, they started teaching their kids in Marathi, and they picked up well. Okay, what I'm trying to say, there were some mistakes, which not some mistakes. There were so many mistakes which happened in the formative years of Bharat. Okay, which is going to take time to correct. Yeah, please understand that. I mean, your points are very well taken. 45 minutes company formation. Yes, you are very right. Not only that, I mean, forget that. Look at the academic industry collaboration there in US. Okay, here what is happening for some reason there is a trust deficit between industry and academia. Right, industry people think that academia is not doing relevant research, and academia think that industry people are not supporting them. Okay, but please understand. You remember 1983 India winning World Cup. Okay, you are not born there. I know that. I don't know. Look at that. It was a moment. It was an inflection point. Okay, I mean, when we won that World Cup, it was nobody was expecting it that India will win. Okay, but once that win, it basically set up the cricket career in India. The point I'm trying to make is that all of us need to make our attempt. Indeed, one inflection point will come. You look at the example of TSMC, right? The TSMC example, TSMC was Taiwan was nothing. It was an underdeveloped country, right? Look at the Singapore. Singapore. I mean, if you go to that Merlin, what there is a what that शेर के मुंह से पानी निकल रहा हो, there is a right. When I went to Singapore, there was a washroom there. I went inside that washroom. There was one painting there. Okay, basically what that painting showed, that how this place looked back in 1948. It was basically fishermen, that Merlin, you see that if you go to Singapore, that Merlin, I'm forgetting the name of that place. वो शेर के मुंह से पानी निकल रहा है. It's a very tourist place in Singapore, right? They have put up a photo there that how this place looked like way back in 1948. Okay, it was a fisherman's market that time. Okay, what I'm trying to say, see, every society, for that matter, every society, the inhabitants of those society makes an attempt to go for a better life, and then certainly one inflection point comes. Okay, see, every society struggles, right, to reach to that point, right? And that's where we are. That's where we are there imperfections? Certainly there are. Not one, there are many. Okay, but collectively we have to try and come out of those, because see, another thing which sometimes, when I discuss these points, somebody will come and say that aren't these very chauvinistic statements? When we say that we have to be self-reliant or we have to be superpower, are these chauvinistic statements? No, they are not chauvinistic statement. And basically, why we say that? Because if you look at the history of Bharat, we never enslaved anybody, right?
Yes.
Right? That's our philosophy. Philosophically, we don't believe in enslaving anybody. Okay,
Right.
so when we are talking about self-reliance, okay, basically we are talking of self-reliance because unless until we are powerful, nobody will listen to us, right? The peace comes with power. Peace. So somebody wants to, yeah, please go ahead. This is chit chat session. Yeah, go ahead. I will give somebody else chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Rehan.
yeah. Hi, Atulji. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, Atulji, I mean, that's a very good point on what you raised on the self-reliance of Bharat and how we would like to see Bharat being self-reliant in the years to come. But Atulji, there's one point which I would want to add on, and I would really like if you could, pass your suggestions on this. I think the major problem that right now, which I see, which we don't have in India, is we don't have an ecosystem that really encourages people to have a platform to come and make a contribution in the semiconductor field. Let me give a simple example. You mentioned regarding Singapore, and I'll take an example of China in this case. In China, even if we have to manufacture a single product, say in a camera or in any device, if we have to manufacture a part of that product, there is an entire ecosystem just to have that specific item from that specific product to be designed, and it is in the most perfected form possible. In India right now, that ecosystem is not available. So I think that is one of the reasons why the brain drain is also sort of a factor involved here, because people don't have that confidence in the ecosystem that India is having, or there is an ecosystem at all. So that is maybe one of the reasons why people don't choose to stay in India, and they maybe they migrate to the US for opportunities where they are
Nothing wrong in
directly
it.
involved in the development.
Nothing wrong in it, Rehan. Okay, let me come back to your answer. You took example of
Yeah.
China. Okay, see, China is a communist country. Did you have a look at their labor laws, or do they really have any labor laws? I don't know. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is you're very right. The kind of strides which China has made is exceptional. I am not making any fools. Yeah, I'm not living any fool's paradise to deny China. Whatever they have achieved. Right, Rehan?
Yeah, yeah, that is
Right?
correct, Atulji.
I'm not denying it. Okay. But please understand, that's why I said it's society. When I talked about US society, that's a capitalist society. Everybody is coming there for economic gains. They are very clear why they are coming here. Civilization, which is a communist society where no rules apply. One person decide what has to be done next day, and they do it. So you look at when I was rising up in 80s, they had this one child policy, right, Rehan? They had this
Yeah,
one
that's
child
right.
policy. Now they are going back. They are asking their youngsters to have more kids. Correct, Neha? So what I'm trying to say, I will give you a very beautiful statement which Mr. Nandan Nilikani once gave. I think he has mentioned in his book also. I forgot the name of his book. This book. He said that you see, by nature, democracies are slow. Reha. By nature, democracies are slow. Okay, but see, what happens with democracies is that even if it is slow, the probability of a decision going very wrong is very less. So, for example, this one child policy which China had, actually, it went very bad for them. I will tell you how it is hitting them. You know this shuffles, this scuffles which we have in our borders, right? Why it is said that Indian army is better than Chinese army? Not because that Indian army has better equipment. It is because that Indian army is battle hardened. Whereas Chinese army, coming from that one child policy where we only had one child everyone comes there just for earning money in Chinese army. Okay, they are not battle hardened. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is, see, you cannot change the very nature of Indian society. You cannot change the very nature of US society. You cannot change the very nature of Chinese polity. Please mind, I'm using this word called Chinese polity. I'm not talking about Chinese people, because Chinese people are also as good or as bad as Indian people, or as good or as bad as US people. Because God has not, has created all kind of people everywhere. Okay. Now, because it is communism, it is, it is what you call dictatorship. People sticks everybody that from tomorrow you have to do this, everybody will do this. From there, I will give you, China. If you look at the Chinese performance in Olympics, the kind of medals they win, right? What is their process? That from very childhood they pick up kids. Okay, now some of those kids will become exceptionally well, but what about other kids who did not that well? Nobody knows what happens to them, right? So, see, I'm telling you, there is a flip side to everything. The point I'm trying to make is you cannot change the very nature of Indian society. Okay, within those contours, we will achieve something, we may not achieve something. But let me give you one anecdote, and you will have to agree with me on that. You look at the longevity of Indian society. Okay, now if you see, if you look at the history of communism, no communist polity has even survived 80 years. So USSR was the first communist polity, which came in after the Bolshevik revolution, which happened in 1918. And by the 1990s, the USSR was broken apart. Right? Not even 80 years. Because what happens in communism, they live in extremes. Same is the case with capitalism. Okay, they live in extreme. I mean, capitalism lives in one extreme, communism lives in another. And believe me, no extremes will give you an optimal solution. Okay, so you look at the longevity of Indian society with all its ills, with all its shortcomings. It is the longest serving civilization. Would you agree, Rehan?
Yeah, yes, Atulji. That is pretty solid, evidently that you've mentioned. I agree with all those points as well. But yeah,
By
we
the way,
can
I'm
go
not
on.
denying your points.
No, no,
I'm not denying your points. I am saying we have a nature. We have a nature of society, and with that nature we have to work, right? And what makes me work with that nature? The simple example or the simple proof which I gave you. Look at the longevity of Indian civilization, right? हमको एक टाइम पे सोने की चिड़िया कहते थे, right? With all these values only, correct, Rehan?
Yes, Atulji. But then again, what I would also want to, point out, or I can even say, maybe I would like to know about is that how long do we see in the foreseeable future that India itself would have the ability to, be truly self-reliant, to show the fact that yes, we are capable of being a manufacturing hub for semiconductors, and we have the ability of supplying supplying our own products to the world rather than just supplying brain power or manpower, which which these which mostly the Western powers have just taken over from us. So that is what I would also
I
want to
will tell
add up.
you. I will tell you. It has to start from families. I will tell you how. Why I say so. See, I am a born Marathi. Okay, I'm born in Maharashtra, but I'm brought up in Delhi. My father was in a central government job, so I'm brought up in Delhi. So in my Marathi society, I used to stay in a Marathi society in Delhi. So I remember in my childhood, there was almost all parents. The only success criteria for them for their kid was that if they land in US. Okay, that was a success criteria for them. Now, if we have these kind of criteria, right? If we don't have any feelings for your motherland, right? And if you think that everything is wrong in your motherland, everything is good there, no society can reach to that level, right, Rehan? What I'm trying to say,
Yeah, yes.
what I'm trying to say that from see, look at Japanese. I don't know. Have you ever been to Japan?
No, no.
Please go. It's a country worth visiting. I was there for 15 days last year. Okay, I've seen that country. You look at the Japanese. There was an article some days back. Somebody from Europe Somebody was shifted from Europe to Japan, and he found some things very interesting. He said it is so surprising to see that people here can spend whole their career in a single company. Okay, see, you look at Chinese education. For first 5-6 years, they don't teach anything to their kids. They only teach how to wash your hands, how to have civic sense, right? How to have love for their motherland. That's the only thing they are taught. Okay, Japan is an advanced economy, right? And by the way, Japanese are not good in English, by the way, and still they have reached to the level where they were reached, right? What I'm trying to say, whatever you are saying, if you are asking, see, anyway, Viksit Bharat at 2047 is our goal, right? But to reach that goal, that feelings needs to be, put into kids' brain from childhood. Please mind again, my daughter and my son the other day, they were talking to me and they said that they want to stay in India only. Okay, I said, very good. But you must go around the world and see the world and then make an informed decision. So please mind, I'm not saying that you should not go here or you should only live in India. No, if you remember my first statement, I said, doesn't matter where you go on this earth. It only matters with what mindset you go. Okay, if the mindsets are corrupt, okay, have gone to US saying that everything is wrong in India and everything is good there. I mean, that is not a healthy mindset. Okay, US society has its own shortcomings, and that you can read it day in and day out. Okay, now you look at plight of American society, that either they have a Biden to choose or a Trump to choose. Both the choices are not good choices, actually speaking. Right? That's the stage that society has reached because of that extreme capitalism. That society has reached a point where the politics is also capitalistic, right? I mean, they started war everywhere on this earth, caused so much of bloodshed. Okay, so anyway, that's a discussion for a different day. But what you are saying, Rehan, I'm telling you, it is only achievable till the time we develop that mindset in our kids from the childhood, that that money is only one part of life. There are some better things to do in life. Unless until you do that, until the society has that self-respect, no society can evolve. Go ahead, Rehan. I
Yeah,
think I need to
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you, Atulji, on that. And you mentioned a point regarding grassroots level families. So since we're talking about semiconductors itself, let's just focus on that.
Yeah, yeah.
In India, at least, the majority of the herd that we see don't really see semiconductors as a viable future. And let me talk in the case of a computer science graduate. Any computer science graduate, right now, as we notice, the hot topics are AI, machine learning, and all these things which are coming in. And exactly like you mentioned, if you are running for money, then these industries will pay you hefty amounts of money. But then again, is it what really your heart is desiring, or if that's something your interest? Probably not. But if you look at, okay, I mean, let me talk about from a computer science perspective. You're in the embedded software industry for I don't know how long. I think you've been probably in the industry for decades. So I could
Yeah,
consider you like a veteran.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you've been a veteran in the industry. You've been in the embedded software industry for a long time. So, but then again. When okay, I'm also an embedded software engineer, right? So when I started my career when I was in college, to this date we don't find a lot of people who really don't even know what embedded software is. Their perception is that, okay, is it even software or hardware? Okay, leave alone all of this. But even if you talk about VLSI or semiconductors in general, at the grassroots level or at the engineering level where people come and study, the majority of the herd is all moving towards artificial intelligence, software engineering. How do we change this narrative? Because when you talk about family, I would take a step above to engineering levels. Let's start from there, because this is the time when all of
Yeah.
us come and we learn what engineering is about, what we do in the future. So naturally, when somebody sees that AI or this is giving me the money, why would they not want to go with that? They would
So
consider a career in
Rehan,
that future.
no, I will tell you. There, you are assuming that for everybody on this earth, money is the only motivator. I'm telling you that is
No,
not
no,
true.
no, no. I mean, sure.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, 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 no.
definitely not.
I'm
Yeah.
not disparaging you. No, 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 Rehan, I'm not disparaging you. I will tell you one example. I have my friend's son who recently got into IIT Bhubaneswar. He chose mechanical. Besides all the he knew that mechanical people are not earning well, or he knows all the facts. But see, let me give you another example. See, computer science is not an original engineering. It basically came out of electronics. Electronics at one time came from electrical engineering.
Yes,
Okay?
absolutely true,
I will tell
Atulji. But
you.
yeah,
So the point I'm trying to, I remember when I was passing out, so I studied in Maharashtra. So that time, because Maharashtra was a mechanical industry, Pune, Aurangabad, Mumbai, you had lots of mechanical industry. So that time, computer science was not a subject of. Yeah, he's right. All came from physics and mathematics. So you know, computer science did not used to be the favorite of Marathis, local Marathis, at least the people I knew. Why? Because the industries were dominated. See, there is an English term called iconoclast. Okay, the meaning of iconoclast is somebody who break the barriers. Okay, only those people break the barriers who are motivated and who follow their passion. Now, whatever you said, see, I will tell you one thing. See, I lost my father very early in life, and believe me, I chose computer science precisely because of the money. Let me be very honest, Rehan. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that time I wanted to earn money not because that I wanted to live a luxurious life. It was just because I wanted to take care of my family. So at least the goal of my earning money was nobler. Okay. Again, I'm saying, running after. See, I'm telling you, people will learn. There's something called law of natural correction. Okay. So if you are doing something unnatural, right? If you are doing something which you don't like, there will be an inflection point. You will say, enough is enough. Rehan. Okay. So don't worry about it. I mean, see, what you are saying about money. See, the money is priority for you. Please go ahead and earn it. Right? The only thing I'm saying there that you should know is why you are earning this much of money. If you are saying that I want to, there was a recent article, right, by an entrepreneur. Okay. He said the biggest mistake youngsters do because they think that enterprise is a sprint, right? They want to earn money very quickly in their life. They think that starting an enterprise is a sprint. By no means it's a sprint, it's a marathon.
right, Atulji. That's perfectly put. I apologize if I was a bit harsh on my approach, but
No,
I
no,
just
no, no,
wanted
no,
to
no,
like
no.
put
The
out my
thing, the
view
thing.
on.
No, 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 you are not harsh. See, you are supposed to be youngsters. Narayan Murthy used to say one statement that every youngster is a socialist in their young days. They become capitalist later. See the thing. See, Rehan, I will give you a career advice. Okay, having an opinion is not bad. How you express it makes it good or bad.
Right, right.
Okay, expression. Please mind your words, mind your body language. Having an opinion is not bad. Okay, how you express it makes it good or bad.
Perfect.
Go ahead. I think I will give anybody else. Yeah, please.
So, Ishwar Murthy, you have question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Good evening. Am I
Good.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Very much audible.
Yeah, sir. So I recently asked career advice to my brother, who's currently working in a USA company as a vice president. He is from a computer science background, and he is also one of the background for the e-payment software for Tamil Nadu.
Mm.
And I asked that currently serving as a vice president in the company, and he also studied as a AI in a separate university. So I asked for them, you have to study whatever you want because have a great future scope on electronics and I have to go throughout my career, have to make a path on electronics. So I asked him for career advice and he said that you have to study AI also because I also recently survey all those things. For the person who put a BTech on their BTech in electronics, they are converted massively conversion rate to the artificial intelligence degree for their MTech programs. So why this ratio has been changing from the electronics to artificial intelligence or software, use software domain.
See, Ishwar, you remember I said that throughout my career, I always had multidisciplinary jobs. So in my job, I was supposed to have knowledge of optics because I work in optical communications primarily. I was supposed to have a knowledge of electronics. I'm supposed to have knowledge of computer science. Please understand, in today's world, every product is multidisciplinary. You take example of drone. Okay, Drone is about mechanical, drone is about avionics, drone is about electronics, drone is about computer science, drone is about material science. Do you agree, Ishwar?
Right.
Yes,
Right?
sir. I agree.
Right. So gone are the days when you could have, consider, you will consider every field as isolated in silos. No, everything is multidisciplinary. Okay, now there are many students who ask me that there is absolutely no use of what they study in their engineering. Okay, because whenever I go to colleges, I always tell them, please take your mathematics seriously. Not because that every concept of that mathematics will be relevant for your career, but when you do mathematics and you try to solve one mathematical problem in various ways, basically it increases your brain, right? Which is absolutely required for this multidisciplinary engineering. Okay, see, I'm a computer science engineer. Okay, I only had one very fundamental optics subject as a part of my first year course, right? But my whole career has gone in optics because I learned it on the job. And why I could learn it, believe me, because I always had this knack of, as I said, I was never shying away from learning new things. Please understand that. And the basics go to my engineering, where I always used to solve an engineering problem in various ways. It was not just to earn your marks in mathematics, right? I will give you one very joke. What happened with me, in my first semester mathematics exam, our mathematics told us some formulas, told some ways to solve a problem, and he thought that everybody will solve that way and will earn full out of full marks. Somehow I took a different approach and I solved the same problem in a different way. Now he was not used to it, he was not expecting it, so he saw some weird thing, he just marked it crossed. So I got 35 out of 50. Okay, 5 marks, he cut it off, just thought that because I have written something weird thing, so I must be wrong. I went to that professor. I said, sir, can you please look at my paper again? I don't think I have done anything wrong. And that's when he started looking into it seriously. And then, he thought that yes, whatever I have done is correct. And eventually his ego got hurt. He did not give me 50 out of 50. He gave me 47 out of 50. Okay. So leave it. I mean, that's what but what I'm trying to say, when you take your mathematics seriously, see, in this world when everything is interdisciplinary, and please mind, when I'm talking about interdisciplinary, I'm not only talking about engineering, I'm also talking about your communication skills. I'm also talking about your, just now I said one statement, having an opinion is not bad. What makes it good or bad is how you express it. So your communication skills, your soft skills is equally important in today's day. Okay, I mean, if you read some recent articles, you can search on internet what the current companies are talking about Gen Z. The biggest complaint companies have about Gen Z is that their lack of soft skills. Okay, so Ishwar, coming back to your original question, what I'm saying, everything is interdisciplinary. We are trying to make use of AI/ML in electronics. So much of this VHDL Verilog code we are trying to see, or some of the flow that we can automate. So
Yes,
everything
sir.
is interdisciplinary. Everything is interdisciplinary. And please mind you, till now we always thought that is the doctors who always need to study. No, engineering also need to study, because things are so much. There's so there's so many changes happening so fast. To catch up with them, you need to continuously study. Okay. So
Yes, yes, sir.
answering your question, everything is interdisciplinary. Don't think that AI/ML is in silos and electronics is in silos. No, they are interconnected. You can certainly find connections between those two.
Yes, sir. Because now on a few days before, I saw a news on LinkedIn that a medical professional who studied 5 years wholeheartedly for names, who got to get into clear the gate and get into a data science for MTech course.
Yes,
So,
yes. No, you
so
tell me.
yeah,
You tell me this medical instrumentation. Don't you need doctors? I mean, if you want to do anything in medical instrumentation, you need medical knowledge also, right?
yes, sir.
You take any system, today's system, everything is multidisciplinary. As I said, you open the chassis of a car, you will find more electronics than mechanical there.
Yes, I got it. So, one more add-on question: that from your perspective as an embedded software engineer, what kind of the technology growth for the semiconductor for upcoming years? What kind of growth you are visualize on your mind?
See, one thing is, please understand, in today's electronics, when you're talking about SoCs, right, system on chips, that means you are going to talk about multiple cores, right? Not a single core, multiple cores. Now, when you are working on an SoC, basically, when you have a multi-core system, you basically, before design, you decide that what each core will do. Okay, let us say, and based on the workload of that core, the choice of operating system becomes important. For example, if that particular core is supposed to do some hard real time work, right, then you cannot go with Linux. You have to go with some RTOS, right? And if you feel that the latencies and the real time responses of that OS is not meeting your system requirement, you probably need to go for bare metal code, right? Probably bare metal code in C++. Now, if you still you need to do analyze whether my C++ meets, or if not, then you have to write in assembly. Okay, so there are so many decisions, right? I mean, when you are designing an SOC, so that's the thing. When you're talking about SOC, first you have to take decision at the SOC architecture level, which course you should use, which bus architecture you should, what you should be clock hierarchy, which Anant was talking about in the last session. That is on the hardware architecture. When the hardware architecture is there, then the software comes into picture. Please mind, AI/ML can take away jobs like writing some visual C++ code or something, but it can certainly cannot take writing software for SOCs, because when you're writing a software for SOC, there are so many things involved, right, which only human brain can think. AI/ML has not reached to that level where it can talk about SOC software. Am I making sense, Ishwar?
Yes.
Yeah, sir.
Right, I will
That's a good
probably
one. That's very good, sir. I good to hear that.
yeah.
So
Go
more
ahead.
questions. Yes, Rehan, your question.
Yeah. Atulji, I think that's a very, very, very good point that you raised on AI in the software layers for SOCs. I think the area of AI coming to that is going to be very, very hard. I feel, because no matter how much we design SOCs for industries or for any application, the software abstract that goes for it is a very complex process that it cannot be solved by somebody who by any machine which is merely based on, I would say, intuition, or whatever you can call it, but because I'm not sure how that works, but it comes by experience, and experience
See,
sort of
AI/ML
plays.
can only replace those jobs which are repetitive in nature,
Yes, exactly,
whereas
absolutely.
SOC software is not
Yeah.
repetitive.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yes.
And I think this varies for each and every application or end user as well, I believe, right? It could be in the
Oh,
automotive industry, it
believe
could be
me,
on the.
I mean the way. See, SOC is a beast. It can take any form, right? So no AML can write a software for SOC. Take it for granted. At least not for now.
Yeah,
Well,
see,
at least that's.
LLMs can do. They're just mathematical models.
Repetitive, repetitive. Whatever is known, repetitive, right? That can only AML do. None. You
Yes.
tell me one SOC software which you can exactly run on another SOC.
Yes.
Not
No,
possible. Just
no,
not possible.
no, not possible, right? Yeah, somebody else was raising some point.
Um, okay, I guess that was me. Okay, so talking about the fact that Pakistan has more Risk-V things. So what happened is yesterday I just ran a
And by the way,
landscape.
Tushar, just to let me correct, as my philosophy tells me, that was not a disparaging remark. Okay, that was not something
No, no,
like
no,
that.
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no, I just want to clarify that. I just want to clarify that. Okay,
no.
it was not like that because of whatever reasons. I mean, whatever country that is. It was just that we are not putting those efforts. My
True, true,
point was
true.
more tuned towards that.
Okay, so I just did a landscape analysis yesterday because I was like, let's see what's happening in India in this risk-fi domain. I found around, say, 11, 12 some patents. And this was something very different. So I discovered that there are colleges, a lot of small colleges in small cities, say Dharwad, or say Raichur, or all those tier 2 tier 3 colleges. I even found one college in Telangana, which was in a village, and all these guys have done really nice stuff, and these guys have published patents on some RISC-V SOC architecture and all of that. And I was like, this is something new. I mean,
No, no,
maybe the
Tushar, I
next
will tell you.
breakthrough,
What is
the next,
killing? What is killing their ingenuity? It is basically the forcing of English language on them. Otherwise, many of these kids which you are talking about, if you let them, and that's the example of Japan we took, right? Japanese are not good in English. They think in their native language, and that's why they are where they are. Unfortunately, in our country, we have so much of special emphasis on English that we want everybody to learn English, and that kills their ingenuity.
so my question was, so given that our next breakthrough can come from really small villages or really small towns, how do we provide good quality holistic education as well as good mentorship and resources to these kids or professors from these tier 2 tier 3 towns and colleges, because I mean
Uh,
they do not have huge funding the way IITs and NITs do.
no. That's okay. Let me tell you, there are two aspects to this question. One is the motivation and the quality of professors. That is one aspect. Another is the training of students or the pupils, right? Now, when it comes to the teachers, unfortunately, in our country, teaching is a profession by force and not by choice. Would you agree? And especially in that tier 2, tier 3 colleges where salaries are not good, it's a profession by force. So forget that they will be motivated. Okay, forget that. That's my personal experience. Okay, now leave that aside. That is not important. The another part, the training of. See, let me tell you, internet is a boon. Okay, if some kid wants to learn something in today's time, believe me, he doesn't need a teacher to teach him concepts. He needs teacher to guide him in some other ways. But if we just restrict ourselves to the concepts, right? Just concepts, engineering concepts. You don't need a teacher, physical teacher. The internet is is the best resource. Okay, and the way internet reach has increased, that it is there in villages also. Okay, so if some student wants to learn, there is no dearth of good material. It's available. See, you have all the videos available. NPTL is there. Forget about NPTL. You have all the videos available from MIT. You have all the videos available from Stanford. You have all the videos. You have everything available on internet. Okay, that is the best way to teach them. Hey, gentlemen, I am on an energy saver on, so my battery can go anytime. I need to. Otherwise, if you want to talk more, I need to bring my this one. But I think for today it is.
See, I think we can do this in part two also.
Yeah. If people are interested, we can have another session.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to join as well.
I'd love to
actually,
join.
I think that is why also I started this community thing because
No.
I
But Anushka ji, what happens? I am not the one who will preach people on WhatsApp. In fact, I would rather have a face-to-face session. I mean, but it's okay. This is also okay. But more than this, I will prefer a face-to-face session. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we can have a second session if people are interested. But it
yeah,
was actually good if there were few people. We could speak face to face. If there would have been more people, then I don't think we would have been able to discuss these many points.
yeah, actually I was saying that the point that Tushar raised, that how we will train these students, actually that is why I started this community so that I can get the industry
Internet is a
people
boon.
and
Internet
connect
is
with.
a boon. Internet is a boon. That is what will solve this problem. Anushka ji, my
Yes.
battery can go anytime, so probably we need to close now.
Okay,
You
yeah.
can speak
Sure.
anytime. You can, as
So,
people decide.
so we will
Okay.
have it next week, next
So
Saturday.
next week, I don't know. In the month of April, I'm visiting US. So next month, maybe in May.